Hello everyone and welcome back to Rice Fix, and in this video we will be replacing this Suzuki XS engine valves, and we will also set the clearance of the valves. So come on, let's start the video. So once you take out the valve cover, there will be 4 nuts here. These 4 nuts I have taken out already. Then I have taken out a nut from here, and then I have taken out 2 nuts from here. Now how to open an engine, I have already made a video on that. If you want to know in details how to open the engine, then I will put a link of that video on top here. You can go there and check out that video before you watch this video. So before you completely take out the head assembly, loosen the screw of this plate, otherwise later it will be difficult for you to loosen this screw, and also see that you loosen the chain slider bolt. So once you take out the valve casing and all those nuts, take something and tap on the engine head like this, and with this your valve head assembly will come out easily. So pull it out, and once you pull it out and if you turn it on the other side, then you can see that how black it is become here. Now from my Suzuki XS, oil was disappearing. I have replaced the block and the head gasket already, but my oil is still disappearing. So this can be one reason for that oil is leaking through these valves and reaching in the combustion chamber, and it is burning itself in the combustion chamber and coming out to the silencer. So because of that, now I will replace the valves. So before that, we will take a leak test to check if the valves are really leaking. So now take this bolt out completely because it is holding the chain slider. This chain slider we don't need at the moment, and once you take out this chain slider, see that you put the bolt back. So now come on, let's take the leak test. Now to take the leak test, you will have to push the valve that you are checking with one hand. Now whichever valve you are checking, put petrol from the silencer in or the intake. So according to whichever valve you are checking, put petrol in that inlet or out, and see that you keep the valve pushed inside, and you should check if even after pressing, if the petrol is coming out. Now as you can see here, even after pressing, all my petrol is come out from here. This shows that my valves were leaking. So like this, check both the valves, and now come on, let's replace both the valves. So the next thing, I will take out the camshaft and both the valves. Now to take out the camshaft, this screw which you had loosened before, now it's time to take it out completely and move aside this lock plate. Once you keep it on the side, these rocker pins which are there, you can now take them out easily. So slide the rocker arm pins out completely now. They will smoothly slide out. So here comes out my one rocker arm pin, and once you take out that pin, your one side rocker arm will come out like this, as you can see here. Once you do that, go on the other side and remove the pin from the other rocker arm and take out the other rocker arm as well. Then I will take out my camshaft, and to take out the camshaft, you simply have to pull it out, and just after pulling, your camshaft will come out easily like this. Now this camshaft has bearings on it. Now I can see that this bearing is spoiled. As you can see, if you move it a little bit, it is shaking. It should not shake like that. So this I will replace with a new one. That's why I have even taken out the camshaft. Now since you are opening the engine till here, I recommend you to replace this bearing as well. So now come on, let's remove both the valves out. And to take out both the valves, you will have to take a bolt like this, and you will have to put it from under a cloth, and you will have to keep it under the valve which you are taking out, so that when you are tapping the valve from top, it should not go down. So to stop that valve, we will have to put a bolt like this. Then you will have to cover the valve spring with a cloth like this. Then take a 16 mm socket. Now this socket I will place from on top of the cloth on the spring retainer like this, and I will give a tap with a hammer on top of it. So put the cloth, keep the socket on top of the spring retainer, and give a tap with a hammer. When you do this, your lock clips will get released. As you can see here, my lock clips have released already. If you want to take them out more, then you can give another tap. So once they are loose, just press the spring like this, and with this your clip locks, your spring retainer and your spring will come out easily like this. Now keep all these parts in a safe place, because we need all these things when we are putting it back. Then you will have to pull out the valve from the other side, and as you can see here, the state of my valve. So this I will replace with a new one now, but before that, let's take out the other valve. So as you can see here, I am using a 16 mm socket. Put the cloth, and on top of the cloth, place the socket and tap with a hammer. And with this, your clip locks, your spring and your spring retainer will come out easily. Now put all these parts in a zip pouch like this, so that when it's time to put them back, you will get it easily. So once you keep that in the safe place, pull out the other valve as well. So here comes out my other valve. You can even see the state of this valve. Now there is still one more thing that we'll have to take out, and that is the oil seal. So take a plier and pull out this oil seal. So here comes out my oil seal. This also I am going to replace with a new one, because I feel this is become too hard, because of which the oil can leak into the combustion chamber. So all these parts you will have to replace with new ones, so that you will completely get rid of the oil disappearing problem. As you can see, these valves are of 2 sizes. The out valve is always a little bit smaller, and the inlet valve is slightly bigger. So here I have purchased new valves, but before I put in the new valves, there is a procedure to follow. These valves will have to sand a little bit. So to do the correct sanding of the valves, I have have come near the professionals who has a lathe machine so that I can bring to you guys what is the correct procedure. So before they send the valves, they have connected a wire brush to a drill and they are scraping out all the carbon which was formed inside of the combustion chamber. So you will have to take it out completely. As you can see how he is taking out all the carbon, and here on the valve out where the silencer is connected, there also it was become dark. That carbon also he took out with the wire brush. So now it's time to sand the valves. Now to sand the valves correctly, you will have to apply paste on the edge of the valves like this, and then you will have to place the valve in position. Once you do that, you will have to stick a suction plate on top of the valve like this, and then you will have to rotate the valve like this. This process is called lapping, and it is very important to do this if you are replacing the valves. If you don't do this, then you can have more problems in your engine, more oil can reach in your combustion chamber. So to avoid that, this lapping is very important. This valve lapping kit you will get easily online, and you will also get it easily in the local market. You can buy from anywhere and do this procedure at home as well, because now you know the right procedure. So now you observe this professional how he is doing the lapping. In between he is applying that paste and again he is rotating. Once we are done with the lapping, I will show you how the surface looks like, and this is the paste which he is using. Just look at his hand movements, how he rotates the valve. So like this he continued for 5 to 10 minutes, and once he was done, he took a cotton like cloth, he dipped it in the water and wiped the valves like this. So come on, let's ask him only what he has done and what he has acquired. Come on, let's see.
ये जो जिस तरह घिसा है ना उस तरह सीट भी घिस गया देखो ग्रे जैसा दिख रहा है ना कलर हाँ ये तो सिल्वर मतलब ग्रे जैसा ये देखो इसको शाइनिंग है उसमें तो बराबर इसका बड़ा काम है.
So guys, as you have seen, we are done doing lapping for one valve. Now by using the same procedure, you will have to do the lapping on the other valve as well.
इस पे थोड़ा ऑयल लगाने का डिग्री पे बाद में इसमें बैठने का क्या होता है कुछ भी रहेगा तो वो साफ होता है उधर से स्टार्ट मार दिया तो बस कचरा कुछ भी रहेगा तो.
So once we are done doing lapping for both the valves, let's move on to the camshaft. So here I have bought a new bearing. It has cost me 131 rupees. So the old bearing you will have to tap it out like this. So here comes out my old bearing, and then you will have to place the new bearing in place, and then you will have to tap it inside properly. So here my camshaft bearing is replaced in 1 minute. So I will rotate it and check it if it is rotating properly and if it is gone inside properly. So here I am done with the things now. So now I am back home because now it's time to do the fitting. So before that I will again take a leak test. So I will hold one valve with one hand and I will put petrol from the opening. Once I am done putting the petrol, I will check on the other side if there is any leakage. So as you can see guys, there is no leakage at the moment, which is a very good thing. So everything looks okay to me from here. So come on, let's start fitting the valves. So here I have bought new oil seals. So first I will put back the new oil seals from on top of the valves, and once I am done putting both the oil seals back, the spring retainer and the two lock clips which I have kept in a zip pouch in a safe place, that I will put back now. Now to take out the valve you don't need any special tools, but to put back the valve you need a special tool. This tool have cost me 600 rupees, otherwise it would have been very difficult for me to put the valve back. If you don't have this tool, then see that you don't start replacing your valves. This is my request to you. So before you put back all these things, see that you wash them in petrol, and once you do that, put the spring first, then put back the spring retainer, and then you will have to use this tool. With the help of this tool you will have to put your lock clips back in position. So one side of the tool has a rod like thing that you will have to place on one of the valve of which you are putting the lock clips, and on the other side you will have to put the round thing on top of the spring retainer, and then you will have to tighten the tool. So here I have tightened already, and if you see on the other side you can notice that how the rod of the tool is sitting on top of the valve. It is slightly on one side, but that's okay. Once you tighten this, your spring will compress, and when your spring is compressed, you should throw one lock clip inside and then use a tester or a screwdriver and adjust it in the correct position. So I will give you a closer look. As you can see here, my one lock clip has come in position. So now I will throw that other lock clip inside and I will adjust it with the screwdriver. I will do it in front of you on a closer view. As you can see how I am adjusting the lock clip. So here my lock clip is slightly come in position, but I will compress my spring a little bit more so that both these lock clips will come in correct position. So here both my lock clips are come in the correct position. position, as you can see here. So now I will loosen this tool and take it out completely. So as you can see here, once both the lock clips come in the correct position, it will look something like this. You can press the spring and check. Now like this, you will have to put the lock clips on the other side as well. So here I'm done putting back the lock clips of both my valves, and if you see on the other side, it will look something like this. So now I will put back my camshaft. Now to put back the camshaft, as you can see here, now my bearing is not shaking at all. So now I will put this back inside. Remember that before you put the rocker arms, you should be putting the camshaft first. So here goes inside my camshaft. Just rotate the camshaft and check if it is rotating smoothly. So now I will put back my rocker arms. So here comes my one rocker arm. Put it in position, and once you correctly keep it in position, the rocker arm pin which you had taken out, now it's time to put it back. One thing I will suggest to you, that when you are taking out the rocker arms, see that you mark them, which is the in and which is the out, so that while putting them back, you can put the same whichever rocker arm was on the out, see that you put it back on the out only, and whichever one that was on the in, see that you put it back in the in position only. So here I'm done putting back both the rocker arms. Once you are done putting back both the rocker arms, the lock plate which we had taken out from here, now it's time to put it back. Now this head assembly, I will put it back on the bike by putting the gasket and all. Now how to assemble the engine, I have already made a video on that. I will put a link of that video on top here. You can go there and check it out. And after watching that video, see that you put back the head assembly back onto the bike. So once you are done putting the head assembly back on the bike, now comes the most interesting part, that is setting the valve clearance. Now to set the valve clearance, you will need two special tools. The one tool which you will need is this filler gauge, and the other tool is the square hole key, and you will also need a 8mm spanner. So before you adjust your valves, first you will have to keep the piston in the correct position. Now to adjust the piston, on your fan there will be an arrow that you will have to put in line with the arrow on the casing, and once both these arrows are in line, just check your sprocket. There will be a line on the sprocket which should be parallel to your engine head. Once you do that, you should be knowing the valve clearance of your bike, what should be the inlet clearance and what should be the out clearance. I searched this everywhere, but nobody is ready to tell. But then finally I asked in the service center, and those guys told me that the in clearance should be 0.006 and the out clearance should be 0.008. So as you can see here, this is 0.006. This filler gauge will have to put in the valve clearance. As you can see here, it is smoothly moving. First take a 8mm spanner and loosen this nut, then take a square hole key and tighten it. Now how much you should be tightening, that is a very important thing. So you will have to tighten it so much that your filler gauge should move, but it should not move easily. So it should be like you will have to put some amount of pressure to move the filler gauge. So like that you will come to know if you have tightened it properly. So once you adjust that, take the 8mm spanner and tighten the nut which you had loosened. Now as you can see here, my filler gauge is moving, but it is not moving that easily. I have to put some amount of pressure to move it. So that tight you should keep the clearance. Now I will set the outlet valve. Now the out valve clearance should be 0.008. So here I have placed my filler gauge and I will loosen the nut. Then I will take the square hole key and I will tighten it. Now with this your filler gauge should move, but only after applying some amount of pressure. Once you tighten it that much, take a 8mm spanner and tighten the nut. Now as you can see here, how I have to apply some amount of pressure to move the filler gauge. So like this you will have to set your valve clearance. Now how to put the engine back, I have already made a video on that. You guys know that already. So go there and watch that video and do the fitting of your engine. Move your rocker arms like this and check if there is a play, because there should be some amount of play. They should not be completely tight. So I'm hoping that this video was useful to you. If this video was useful, then see that you like and share with your friends and family. And if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, then see that you subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon, so that when I release my new video, you will get a notification of it. And like this, you will never miss any of my videos. Till then, this is Raisam Fernandez signing out, and I will see you now in my next video.